What's up everyone, it's Bones here. In today's video, I'll be showing off another unique deck in which you can see I have an adventure card here along with heroes. And before you click off on the video, I'd like to let you know that Vion is a one-of, which may still make some people click off the video. But the reason for it is because you're playing the adventure card. My idea for this deck was that you can set around the protection with the adventure card and then get into your hero plays through easy access cards. So stick around and you'll see what I mean by that. Anyways, before I begin, if you happen to enjoy content like this and would like to see more, clicking those thumbs up and subscribe buttons are greatly appreciated as they go a long way in supporting the channel and shows me that you like content like this. So as you'll see, this is a match against Swordsoul and we're both gonna open good, except unfortunately I opened the Vion and my opponent quite frankly has the perfect hand in order to go second with the Desires, the Ash, the Imperm. He even has the Ecclesia for follow-up. But you'll see that he's going to Ash the Fateful Adventure, in which I'm going to use the Foolish Burial. And this is kind of one of the cool things that you can do, because you can't really normal summon your hero monsters in this deck, which is why you play a low count of ones that you can normal summon, or rather normal summon to activate their effects. But by using alternative methods, you can get into your Ferris, which basically gets you into combo. So you'll see I'm going to use the Ferris in order to special summon itself, sending the Mali, and then chainlink 1 Ferris, chainlink 2 Fateful. Fateful will then add the Draco back as Ferris will put increase into the spell and trap zone. And from here we can use the increase to tribute the Ferris, then special summon the increase, use its effect in order to special summon, but get hit by the Imperm here, which I'm going to chain the Mass Change in order to dodge that. And unfortunately, as you'll see, I can't special summon a Vion because I only play one. I do play the 2 increase, as you see. And this replay here kind of made me think that maybe I should play 2 Vions, but we'll get to what I could take out once I get to the deck profile. So to continue the replay, we'll see that the Dark Law is going to hit the board, then the Mali is going to special summon another copy of itself, and I'm going to go into Wonder Driver here, which is important, because since you're playing the adventure cards, you can't really go into Crusader as much as a regular hero deck was. So the main link 2 that you're gonna go into with your combos here is Wonder Driver. And you'll see that we're gonna normal summon the Vion, which will allow me to get back the Mass Change. And now we have a double Dark Law with the adventure token sadly just equipped. But you'll see that I'm going to get hit with the Moye here. At this point there's not much that I can do. It is nice that I can prevent my opponent from drawing and force out the Boxia instead of the Chija, which lets me use the Mass Change in order to go to a second Dark Law, get the Mass Change back with the Wonder Driver. But my opponent is going to Desires here, and he gets really good draws with the Emergence, which will be able to add the Longyon, and this is ultimately what ends up letting him play around it. I mean, he did have the Ecclesia, but he had already used the Moye. There was nothing to banish with the Taie, so unfortunately, the Emergence top deck off the Desires is going to be what wins my opponent the match, as he gets to go into the Cheng Ying and attack over my monsters. I'm going to get back the increase, and I'm just going to see my draw here as I get right. But there's nothing that I could really do with it since Draco back is already in the graveyard, and you can argue that maybe equipping the Draco back was a misplay, but I don't necessarily think it would have done too much here, as I didn't have the follow-up to stop Baxia from reviving Taie after getting over the Taie and bouncing back the Cheng. On to game 2, and I'm going to blind second here, And the reason for this is I sided full in going second. And my opponent is going to make his board in which I'm going to hit him with Nibiru. And from here, my opponent is going to set 2 and pass. Then I'm going to normal summon the Shadow Mist here. And my opponent has 2 sets, but you'll see that my opponent is sadly going to scoop. And what I was going to do was go into dark, search Ferris with the Shadow Mist. Then Ferris could special summon the Mali, but as you see, my opponent unfortunately scooped. You'll also see a small thing here in which the hero lives and Nibiru colluding with each other, and I bring this up because your adventure token engine can too, so you always want to use the hero lives first. Now, we'll go on to game 3, and my opponent's gonna let me go first here, in which this time I actually sided in going first, but unfortunately I didn't see any of my side cards. And I'm basically going to try to combo as my opponent hits me with the Ash. And then I'm going to make this play here just to end on double Dark Law. But my opponent is going to Ash Imperm me for a second time, and he even has the seals for the Boxia, as you'll see that's gonna happen now, as he's going to use the Heavenly Circles, not the seals, for the search of the Longyon, and from here this is pretty much game, because he can go into his Cheng, then go into the Monk, attack over my monsters, and I had no follow-up from here. The Shadow Mist alone didn't do anything, and I don't believe there was a top deck in my deck that would have gotten me out of Cheng Ying, considering I would have had to banish during my turn at one point. The next replay is going to be at Ignister, and you'll see that my opponent is going to open 3 disruptions, as he's going to Ash the Fateful, and then I'm going to Fusion Destiny here, going into the Enforcer, getting the Draco back to equip to the token. Then I can go into the Wonder Driver here, which is kind of what I was talking about, or I go into the Crusader actually, and I went into the Crusader because I wasn't gonna use its effect, and I just needed something for material to go into the Dread Decimator, looking back at it. And I'm going to Ash the Infantry here, and my opponent's going to special summon the blue, go into the Splash Mage, and then I'm going to Called by the Splash Mage target, which prompts the scoop. On to game 2, and you'll see that I open kind of crazy for a going second hand, as I have the Droll and the Nibiru, along with the Lightning Storm, and I even have the Fusion Destiny for follow-up, and my top deck is also going to be a good one too, as you'll see in a moment. And I get the Mali, which I now use the Ferris, send that to the graveyard, then I can use the increase effect, special summon itself, use that effect, force the Ash, now I can use the Mali, and my opponent scoops here without even seeing the Fusion Destiny. So now I'm going to take you to the combo video, in which I'm going to start by saying that Called by the Grave is actually a discard, since I wanted to put both the adventure and the hero cards into this hand so that you could see what my intentions were when I built this. So I'll start here by using the hero lives because you have to before right. Then I'm going to special summon the Stratos, and Stratos here will get me the Shadow Mist, which I can send off Ferris, as you'll see after I do the adventure stuff, and that will also net me a search. And I'm going to discard the Called by, as you see, and special summon the Griffin, and then get the Fateful Search, which gets me the Draco back, and now the Ferris will start the hero combo. So we discard the Shadow Mist, and we do Chainlink 1 Ferris and Chainlink 2 Shadow Mist, which Shadow Mist gets the Dark Angel, and Ferris puts increase in the spell and trap zone. Then we'll use the increase effect tributing the Ferris, and then using its effect to special summon Vion. And then Vion can send the Mali, in which then we can use the Vion to search Poly. So from here you'll see that we're going to go into Wonder Magician, which is the main link to for this deck. And then we can use the Mali effect. And from here we use Polymerization, fusing away the Mali and the Stratos for the Sunriser. Now we can get Sunriser Chainlink 1 and Wonder Magician Chainlink 2, getting us back to Poly and searching the Miracle Fusion. And from here we can use the Fusion Destiny, since we're not going to be special summoning anything else but Darks for the turn, or at least Dark Heroes, as DPE and Griffin are now online. Now we can use the effect of the Denier and get its effect to put back the Mali on top. And then we're going to use the Decimator, in which then we're going to use the Dark Angel, special summoning itself to our opponent's field to stop him from activating spells. And then you can use the Miracle Fusion or hold the Miracle Fusion to go into your Esk, and then choose to equip the Draco back or not. Onto the deck profile, the first thing that I kind of want to point out here is that you see that there's only one Stratos and one Vion, and in most hero builds you're probably used to seeing multiples. In fact, this might be the first build you see with these two at one, and it's because you play the Adventure Engine. As you saw in the combo video, the Adventure Engine is there to get you the protection, while the hero stuff is really just facilitating a combo to give the deck a little bit of a stronger backbone, as you can get out Dark Law or have DPE and a strong engine going second. To go along with that theory, you'll see the 3 hero lives and the 2 fusion destinies, and these are just more ways to special summon while giving you the setup to go into your hero combo. The plasma could be Celestial or another D hero name. The reason why it's plasma is because with Right being an easy special summon of a token, and the way the deck plays, having graveyard set up through Denier and Mali, an increase bringing itself back. On follow-up turns where you either top deck a Stratos and have to search this, or it's in your hand and you have the Aqua in the graveyard for the search on your turn, and you have an access to Denier summon, then getting this out can be pretty easy, and a game-winning way for follow-up. The 2 Malis for the Ferris, of course. The 1 Dark Angel to lock your opponent out of their spells. And then your 3 E-Heroes, which again the Vion could be another one that you want to bump to 2. It kind of reminds me of Increase in a way that the deck doesn't function the same when you run just 1. So there definitely is a case for the second Vion. The 3 Ferris, the 1 Denier, the 2 Increase, the 1 Griffin, the 3 Aqua, and the 3 Right to max out on the consistency of seeing your Adventure Engine. And your 3 hero lives with the 3 Mass Change and the Called By, which help you play around hand traps. With Mass Change's ability to get you into a Dark Law or a Blast and kind of just dodge Imperms and Veilers, that can definitely come up, as well as any other targeting effect. Then you have the Fusion Destinies, the Foolish, the 1 Poly and the 1 Miracle Fusion for the combos, the Fateful and the Draco back for the adventure stuff, and then Ash as the most universal hand trap. And then I have the Drolls here specifically over the Nibirus, because I wanted something that was versatile in its matchups, but also a turn ender. And you don't really want to main Nibiru going first, as you saw there's really only one of these. So Nibiruing yourself going turn 1 can hurt this deck more than it can help it. Then onto the side deck you'll see the 3 Nibirus, the 3 Token Collectors, which is for Sword Soul, but as you saw in that replay, it doesn't always turn out that way where you get the side cards. The 3 Dark Rulers, the 3 Lightning Storms, and the 3 Twin Twisters. Onto the extra deck, and you'll see this is where we have the 1 Cross Crusader and the 2 Wonder Driver. And again, it's because of the Adventure Engine and the fact that you're using Cross as a follow-up play when you play with the adventure stuff. The dark is also important for nib. Being able to nib your opponent, normal summon a monster or a dark monster, and still have access to this, as you saw, helps increase the overall consistency of the deck. And then the Decimator, just to buff up the attack and help with OTKs, as the deck likes to go second. Then you have the one Dangerous, the one Dominator, the one Dystopia, the one DPE, the one Esk, the one Trinity, the one Sunrise, the one Blast, and the two Dark Laws. But anyways, that's it for today's video, and I hope you enjoyed. If you want my final thoughts for the deck, while I do think that it has some things over the regular hero build, like the protection that you can get from the adventure stuff, and having an inherent out to certain cards like mine through Dracoback, while also not having to play as many of the Garnets as some hero decks may, which, don't get me wrong, you're still playing the Dracoback, the Fateful, the Fusion cards, and your Fusion Destiny stuff. But in a regular hero deck, those hands are only amplified by when you start seeing multiples of certain monsters or spells, and kind of be limited on your plays. I feel like the adventure engine does help with that. If you want to know how I'd compare it to the standard hero builds, whether it be Destiny Hero or E-Hero as we know them, I don't want to give you a false answer, as I still believe the deck has more testing that can be done, as well as some improvements. That doesn't necessarily mean I think it's worse. I think both builds have their pros and cons. It's just about what you would rather not lose to and what you would rather do with your playstyle. Some people like to play a heavy OTK deck and go second, and the deck is very well capable of that, while other people want to go first and lock their opponent out with Dark Angel. That's perfectly acceptable too. With this video, I just hope to introduce a new way to play heroes for players who enjoy the archetype and want to go through all their options. Anyways, if you made it this far into the video, I thank you for watching. Feel free to leave any suggestions down below, and let me know your thoughts on the video. Boned, signing out.